This is Grandpa Jim here today, and doing what really is one of my favorite times a year, and that's planting my tomatoes. And these are all different kinds of open pollinated heirlooms. This one here I grew last year because I was interested in it because it was actually developed in 1898 in my hometown of Lancaster, Ohio. And but then after growing it, I realized this is a really good tomato, wonderful tomato. So I want to show you how we plant them. Now, because we had kind of a late cold spell, we weren't able to get these out to start to harden them up. So they've gotten just a little bit taller than I normally do, but that won't hurt you. In fact, that's a plus. And I want to show you here how we do that. You can tell when you look at there's little hairs all the way along, all the way around the stem of this. If you bury that stem, it will turn into roots and will give you a huge root system that will really make for a good, healthy tomato plant. Now you got to be kind of easy because you don't want to snap it off. But what I do is I take it here and we kind of squeeze it. And here we go again, 2 fingers under, and there it is. Now look at these roots. It's not root bound because there's only just a very few going sideways. It's ready to plant. And what we do, and I'll make this just a little bit deeper here, you actually lay your tomato down like this. And then, make the hole a little bit bigger, you bury the stem just like that. And what'll happen, that thing will start to root, and next thing you know, it will create a big tomato. So what I try to do is I'll pull this one off here. You don't have to, but I think it helps to do that. And then we just put it in there, and then it's ready to be to start growing. And this year I'm trying something for the first time. I've always looked at these and thought, my goodness, these don't look very sturdy. But my wife got these for me. I like staking. I'm not really into the cage type. A lot of people do, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that if you like using cages. But I like to have them trained up the stake. So I was thinking, I grow 60 to 70 different kinds of tomatoes, and I always mark them with some kind of, like if it's a wood stake, I just write down the variety. But what was trying to figure out is how do I make these so I can have a label on top. Well, I had some old scrap, and I cut it into little strips, and then I cut them, and then I drilled a hole. And what I do is we'll put this in here, push it down the ground, and that's nice and sturdy. And then I take, I can show you here, this is Mall's Success is the name of this tomato. You can see where I drilled a hole, and I just put it right up here. I did put a little bit of duct tape just to make it a little snugger. And we put that down there. And then as the plant begins to grow, I will go ahead and I'll use a twist tie that I will use, and I'll put around the bottom of the stem just to train it a little bit better. And we just do it like that, and we leave it pretty good size opening because this stem will grow, and we certainly don't want to girdle it. So anyway, that's pretty much. And then one other thing, we're using fish emulsion. If you like, it smells like fish. Not very good either, but rotten fish. But anyway, then we water it with a nice solution of fish emulsion. And that's a 2-4-1 fertilizer, so it won't burn it, but it gives them a good start. And that's how we do it in our raised beds. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, that's wonderful. You have room. And what do I don't have that kind of room. You can see here all the tomatoes that we have planted. Well, I've got the answer for you. We have here these kind of buckets you get at your big box store. Here's a Menards and all that. And this year I'm trying something new. I've grown tomatoes in there before, but this would really be nice if you only have room, say a porch or maybe just outside your house, but you want tomato. But you can grow full-size tomatoes in these. They'll do pretty good, but these are actually dwarf tomatoes. And they don't grow very tall, and they get very bushy. And what we do, you can get them all different kinds. Like here's dwarf Mr. Snow. Guess what color it is? It's white. Here we have dwarf goldfinch. Well, it's yellow. Dwarf confetti, a multicolored tomato. And this one we're doing is called dwarf Loxton's Lad. And let me grab my trowel right here. And here's what we do with these. Now they require a little bit of a stake, but not a whole lot. And dwarf tomatoes are a determinate type of tomato. You say, well, what does that mean? Well, it's kind of like you say they have a determined size that they grow, and they only grow so far, and then they set their fruit. Tomatoes like the one I just planted are indeterminate, and they will vine and vine and vine. So as long as you have your, they're before the frost gets them, they'll keep growing. So we dig a nice hole in here. And again, we do the same thing here. Kind of squeeze it and tap it on the bottom. Stick your hand here and put it right in here like this. And go ahead here. Now these I don't bury as much. And here you go. And then I have the stake that I put in with it. I wrote on with a Sharpie, and I push it down in here. Now, as these grow, I will be adding just a small cable tie to just kind of keep them where they, so that they are able to stand straight up. And then we'll do the same thing over here as we did the other. Here's the fish emulsion. Pour that in there. We'll just go ahead, we got a little left, we'll just pour it in all of these. Now as these grow, as we go through the season, and really from here on out, you won't see me getting these wet. I actually will just do around the plant. And that keeps them from getting disease, and also just from the hot weather or the sun kind of can have them make some spots on them there. So anyway, whether you have a lot of raised beds, whether you have a small area, you can grow these in buckets. There's lots of things you can grow in buckets, but these ought to do just fantastic. So this is Grandpa Jim, and thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know.